Weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Trump has said he aims to suspend the federal gas tax for a period of time. Some other states are moving in that direction at the state level. Illinois, not one of them. Interesting. Jelly Belly saying, no, can't suspend the state gas tax because we need it to finance infrastructure improvements. By the way, Illinois state gas tax is the second highest in the nation. California just edged us out. Come on, people. 66 cents a gallon. That's just the state tax. And don't forget, we have a sales tax on the tax. We double tax gasoline, which most states don't do, which is why outside of California having to import their fossil fuels from Iran, or at least traveling through the strait, the one state in the country, as Doug Burgum mentioned earlier in the week, Illinois has routinely the highest, Chicagoland in particular, the highest gas prices in the nation behind California. It's taxes, not those greedy oil companies, as the power structure in Illinois would have you believe. But not this time. You remember, not so long ago, I guess it was a different time. There was a different person in the Oval Office. Pritzker did suspend the gas tax, the state gas tax, for a period of time, like Trump is proposing right now. And he required gas stations to post signs saying it was suspended to try to provide political help to Biden when gas prices were spiraling up. But now, no, not so much. Can't do it. Yeah, you get it. Speaking of Illinois and vis-a-vis California, since it's the most interesting race so far this cycle, and probably will be for this cycle, assuming Spencer Pratt at least makes the runoff on June 2nd. Spencer Pratt has a new ad out, and they've been so entertaining, we might as well keep sharing them with you.
What does dangerous Spencer Pratt have in mind for Los Angeles?
I make a living giving drug needles to unhoused individuals, and Spencer wants to put me out of the job. Spencer wants to force me to get treatment and turn my life around instead of dying on the streets. What kind of bully forces people to do things?
As a busy mom, running away from the crazy drug addicts in our park is the only exercise I get. Spencer wants to get rid of them. Does he want me to be fat?
A vote for Spencer is a vote for change. Why would you vote for change when everything is fine? Stay the course with Karen Bass. Smile, damn it!
Don't take the bait. Stay the course with Bass.
I love ridicule. You have to. Or at least you have to try. It's difficult, though. It is difficult to parody the left, as we've been saying for some time. And Karen Bass is right up there among the most difficult people to parody. This was her latest policy innovation.
How many people who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all? They don't have teeth. Why? Because meth rots your teeth. You can't succeed without teeth. So there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
So now, free body parts for people who want to trans, including people in the country illegally residing in California. Now free teeth for meth addicts. Okay. That was not a parody ad. That was Karen Bass being Karen Bass. Oh, excuse me, Karen Basura. For more on all this, Stephen Moore joins us, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, co-authored with Art Laffer. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Well, good morning, Dan. And by the way, I always listen to your show and was very. I didn't realize that you have a tax on the tax on gasoline. I knew.
Yeah, we double tax it.
How devious and backhanded is that?
Yeah, but I saw in Unleash Prosperity, you guys were making the point there, your posse, that, now's a good time to suspend the state gas tax, maybe permanently. That would be even better. But but states not moving to do so with the same energy they did when Biden was president. Certain states, like Illinois.
A bunch of the red states are doing that, but the blue states, of course, with the highest gas. By the way, the ones with the highest gas tax, you're correct. California is at about 70 cents. You're at what, about 60?
66
in Illinois. So 56, and then
66 and going up.
There, New York. Yeah. New York is way up there. Gee, what do all those states have in common? They have a war. They hate gas, right? They hate fossil fuels, so they keep taxing it, so you can't drive your car. Look, I'm in favor of a temporary reduction or suspension of the federal income gas tax. And states should follow suit. And then, in a couple months when gas prices start to fall again, which they will, then you could reinstate the gas taxes. But and by the way, your story about Pritzker being all in for cutting the gas tax when Biden was president, but not now, that tells a big story, too.
Yes. And by the way, I mean, I like going back to the Wayback Machine, too. And I noticed another item in one of your newsletters that was fun. And because this is being debated in real time still always in Chicago and in Illinois, which is, the tip minimum wage, the minimum wage, should we freeze it? Should we raise it? Always a push to raise it. And you recall a simpler time when the New York Times was not a incubator for crazy people, an editorial that New York Times wrote 40 years ago.
Yeah, which was and the title of that editorial, which is sort of famous or infamous, depending on your political position, was the correct minimum wage is 0.00. And look, the point, I don't have a problem with a modest minimum wage. I don't have a problem. But when the Democrats are talking about a $25 an hour minimum wage, are they trying to destroy jobs? That, by some estimates, that would destroy 5 to 10 million. And the less skilled people, that you're going to just price all the low income Hispanics out of their jobs because they can't you can't produce $25 an hour. But this is the idea that just keeps coming back, and that's the sponsor of that, of course, is AOC in the House and Bernie Sanders in the Senate. So, but they have a louder. Have you noticed their voice is the voice of the Democratic Party today is AOC and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, she's the leading candidate for president in 2028.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what happened to that party? And then, if Bernie Sanders or AOC are the presidential candidate, then I think Pritzker would be a great VP.
So do I. Anything to get him out of Illinois.
Get him out of Springfield.
Yeah, although it's midterm, so that's not going to be enough to do it, assuming that ticket wouldn't win, and that's what I am assuming. In California, we've got a couple of interesting races going on, both the governor and the race for mayor of LA, of course. Which, as an economist, which program is more attractive to you? Karen Bass's program to give free teeth to meth addicts, or Gavin Newsom's free diapers at 3 times the retail cost? $20 million worth of free diapers.
I've always liked Karen Bass because of her let it burn, baby. Let it burn. She really. There's more and more mounting evidence that those houses that burned down, tragic. Thousands of houses that burned down in the Pacific Palisades. It was an act of terrorism. This was the reason that
it was an arson.
They didn't act because those are rich people. We don't care if rich people. These are millionaires. We let their houses burn down.
I see what you're saying.
There's more evidence that's what happened.
You mean in addition to the arson, it wasn't general incompetence, or that was a part of it, but it was also just a lack of interest in saving people's houses because they were rich?
Yes. Yeah, they're rich. They can afford to have their house burned down. I mean, and it's I have a couple friends whose houses burned down. It would have been easy to. How do you run out of water when you're right next to the damn Pacific Ocean?
Water everywhere and not a drop to put out a fire. Yes. Yeah.
But I think that this might be L.A. is almost as liberal as Chicago is, but I think people are so fed up with the basic incompetence of these leaders, like Brandon Johnson, like Karen Bass, like Zoe
Mamdani.
And really, these are the people who have become the symbol of what the Democratic party stands for. You saw that AOC said no one can earn $1 billion, and so
not legitimately.
Fred Smith, who built FedEx, I guess he's a villain because he became a billionaire, even though he created one of the greatest transportation companies of all time. So it's actually kind of scary. Actually, it's like the Batman movie. It's like Bane. Kill all the rich people.
The inflation number that came out yesterday was a bit concerning, no?
Yeah, it was. So what's going on now is, obviously when you have a high oil and gas price, that's going to not only affect what you pay at the pump, but it's going to affect like airline tickets are more expensive now. Why? Because the airlines have to pay more for fuel. So
and the hundreds of products made with products made with petroleum. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Everything is derivative of energy. So when the energy price rises, just about everything else does. So, yeah, Trump is right now. He just landed in China, in Beijing, and he's got that high stakes meeting with President Xi. I want him to be very tough with the Chinese. They're cheating, they're lying, they're stealing, and they're not lifting a finger to get the Strait of Hormuz open, even though, by the way, Dan, they're more dependent on Middle East oil than we are. But we got to get the Strait open. People have different opinions about Iran, but I'm not a big interventionist myself. But we're there. Let's get this thing over with, and let's get out of there so we can get back with being number one.
Are you concerned or supportive of Trump using the threat again of tariffs to try to institute some discipline with Xi to try to affect what he wants from Xi?
Trump is the master negotiator. He does understand the art of the deal. Yeah, I'm in favor of him being very tough with China. I think China is an enemy in the United States. We're dealing with a country that is not, a cooperative. So, yeah, we should use every possible area of leverage we have over China. They are not only a threat economically, but they're becoming an increasing threat militarily as well. And so, yeah, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm a free trade guy. I do believe in free trade. But when you're dealing with an enemy like China, you've got to use every tool in your chest.
Mm-hmm. Steve Moore, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity. Again, Steve, thank you as always.
Okay, don't forget, let it burn, baby. Let it burn.
No, I forgot about that Karen Bass classic. Very good. And Steve joined us on the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention all listeners, financial planners, CPA, and divorce attorneys. In 2021, there were over 420,000 licensed loan originators. Today, that number is down to 93,000. That's a reduction of over 75% of licensed loan